and welcome to the June edition of The Sky Above. We are so excited you're here with us. I'm your host, King 5 meteorologist Leah Pezzetti. For the next half hour, we're going to walk you through everything happening in the sky this upcoming month so you can plan ahead and see it with your own eyes. This is going to be a new series that we're doing. This is the second time we're doing it. I'm joined once again by Keith Krumm. Keith, you became a NASA solar system ambassador. You make it your mission to go out and educate people on all things in the sky. You did such a great job last month. We're so happy you are back with us. You retired from Boeing as well.
Great to be here, Leah. Thanks. It's a great program, the Solar System Ambassador Program. Great volunteer program.
Awesome.
Get to do all kinds of fun stuff.
And you are
even like this.
You're a wealth of knowledge, so we're excited to talk about a lot of different things today. Everything coming up in the month of June. Okay, let's first talk about a big milestone this month, June. It's something we've all been talking about. The summer solstice.
Yes, longest daylight hours of the year.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's always a great day. You know, we have these long, beautiful evenings, which I really like.
Yep.
It would be nice if it got darker earlier so we could go out and look at the stars, but I love the nice evenings.
Yeah, so June 20th.
Yeah.
The sun will be at the highest point in the sky. We'll see the most daylight.
Yeah.
It's going to be incredible.
And, you know, we have to remember that it's the highest in the sky, but it's not the hottest day of the year, right? Mm-hmm. The hottest day of the year is like 6 weeks later.
Yeah.
It takes that long for things to heat up after the longest day of the year. So.
Yeah, so we get the daylight without the extreme heat.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so mark your calendars. Summer solstice is coming up here soon. Yep. Okay, now another cool thing happens every month, but this month we're talking about our full moon this month. It's the strawberry moon.
Strawberry moon, yes. The Algonquin people in Ontario, ageless name for the strawberry moon. A lot of Native American names. Haida called it the berries ripen moon, the Tlingit called it the birth moon, and the green corn moon by the Cherokee. So these are all related to harvesting and how the Native Americans really used the calendar to mark these things with their harvests.
That's really cool. And in June 11th, but it's right in the wee hours of June 11th. So June 10th moon. And June 11th could potentially be great times to see that, right?
Yeah, yes. And then we have a new moon on the 24th. So they're all the strawberry moon, but the strawberry moon is the full strawberry moon on June 11th.
Okay, all right, we'll look forward to it. Yeah. Okay, this next one, I don't even want to try to say the name of it because I just tried to and I found out I've been saying it wrong. So, our meteor shower that's heading.
Meteor shower.
Say it for me.
Bhotids.
Bhotids.
It looks like Bootids, but it's Bhotids.
Okay.
And it'll be an interesting one because it's a variable one. It could be just one meteor that night, but in 1998 there were 100 an hour. 100 an hour. So it's very variable, including the timing. So the timing can be early in the morning, but it could be earlier in that same evening.
Oh, so this is a gamble.
Yeah, on the 27th is the peak, but it's any time between the June 22nd and July 3rd. Okay. It could be anywhere in there. So keep looking up. And the other cool thing about it is it's at the zenith. So the zenith is straight over your head no matter where you are.
Okay.
So the zenith is right. So this is a great one because you can lay down on the ground and just look straight up and watch for it. You know, you don't have to even, it's a lot easier to find the zenith than it is to find north, right?
Okay.
Because the zenith is always straight above your head.
Yeah, and we talk a lot of times with these meteor showers about having to lay down and look in a certain direction, and if there's a mountain or a building or something in the way, it can hinder that viewing. So straight up.
Yeah, one other note on that. Straight up is the best place to look because it's the least amount of atmosphere you have to look through, right?
Oh.
So it's a better chance of actually seeing something that night.
Okay.
Including having your red light flashlight.
Right, we talked about that last month. Let's do a little refresher with the red light flashlight.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of the color?
So in order to see these dim things, like often meteors can be dim, you need to adjust your eyes to the darkness. So once you're out there, your eyes adjust, fairly quickly. Could take a little while, but then you can see things. But if you hit it with a white light flashlight, you lose that darkness, you lose that dark sky eyesight. So a red light flashlight helps that, because red doesn't mess up your eyes. It doesn't ruin your night vision.
Okay.
So that's why you use it.
So if anyone wants to become a avid sky watcher, you'll want to invest in a red light flashlight.
Yes, indeed.
I love it. Okay.
I have one for you.
Thank you very much. So, and you said potentially one, but what's the potential for the highest number that we could see with this one?
In 1998, there was 100 an hour.
Wow.
So it was a lot, in the peak hour, there was 100. And so it's very variable. You just never know.
Could we see 100?
I mean, it's possible. It's just a very variable one. They don't have any real, they being the NASA guys, don't have any real way of estimating what it's going to be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe a fun one to get out, keep your expectations low, but maybe get impressed, be impressed.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Well, and there's other great stuff to look at too, right? I mean, when you're out there, we're going to talk about binoculars later.
Yeah.
When you're out there, just have your binoculars, and if you don't see any meteors right away, there's other great stuff that is cool to look at.
I love it. Okay, so we've got the summer solstice, we have our strawberry moon, we have the Bootids.
Bootids. In the constellation Bootes.
I love it. And we have a lot more to get to. Still ahead, if you are just starting to dabble in astronomy, maybe you don't think you have the right equipment to see these cool sights, we have some tips for you. You may have something in your own home right now that can help you see these cool astronomical sights. Welcome back. I am now joined by another second member of the Seattle Astronomical Society, Keerti Bhogaraju. Keerti, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks, Leah. Thanks for inviting me.
I'd love to hear just some quick things. Your background in astronomy, this is kind of a new passion of yours as well, right?
Actually, I have been very fascinated by astronomy since like the age of 6 to 8, stargazing. Yeah, I was always fascinated by the stars, and when I was an undergrad, they used to take us to these stargazing events like star parties overnight, and we used to see these amazing planets, and they would set up these big binoculars and telescopes. So I wanted to do the same in Seattle when I moved to Seattle, so that's where I looked for the Seattle Astronomical Society, and that's where I'm right now. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, and you are here to kind of bridge the gap between someone who maybe wants to get into it but isn't quite sure where to start. You brought some great tools and gadgets with you. Walk me through what you brought and how someone who's maybe getting into astronomy can implement this.
Yeah. So anciently, people used to use the star chart or a paper trail, but now what we have is like binoculars, and this is a SkyMaster Celestron 20x80 binoculars. So 20 is the aperture and 80 is the diameter in the front. So 20 is the magnitude, my bad. So that's the magnitude at which you can see the objects, and 80 is how much light can pass on your eyes. And I was looking at Amazon, and I wanted to see which binoculars are useful for extraterrestrial viewing and as well as stargazing for astronomical objects. That's what this binocular is.
They're pretty large.
They are. This is like a 5-pound binocular, and you'd need a tripod definitely to like hold it and make it stabilized so that you can point to a particular object.
Okay, so a nice bridge between maybe a telescope and the naked eye.
Yes. And that's Keith's binoculars. That's 10 cross 25, and that's also for like birds viewing and as well as the binocular objects.
These are yours, Keith?
Yeah, these are mine. So these are 10x, 10 times magnification, and it has a 25 millimeter aperture. So that's the amount of light that can be collected. So this can collect a lot more light. And you can see a little bit further into space with those.
So what would you potentially be able to see with one versus the other? Where's the difference there?
So last year when I bought it, I was able to spot the Shuchinshan C2023A3 comet, which was visible after 80,000 years, and it's not going to be visible until the next 80,000 years.
Wow.
So I was able to see that behind the Olympic Mountains, and it was amazing. And also the moon, you can see the craters and the valleys really well through these binoculars. And I also was able to spot, this was during the winter skies, where the Hercules globular cluster. You can definitely spot the globular cluster in the summer sky in June as well.
Okay. And Keith, were you able to see any of those events?
They appear in there, but probably it's a little bit more as fuzzy things. You get a lot more detail with the larger ones. You can see those. These are good for, like, we were going to talk about Misir and Alor, which is a double star system in the Big Dipper.
Okay.
Second star in the Big Dipper handle is actually a double star. And so those would be really pretty. It's a really pretty object to look at.
Okay. Okay. So we have maybe step 1, the small ones, step 2, the larger ones.
And then step 3 is like you definitely a telescope. I mean, after this, I would go for a telescope once I am like accustomed to all the celestial objects I could find from the binoculars.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to getting one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have a telescope yet?
I started with the binoculars.
Okay.
Yes.
But now we're ready for the...
Yes. Hopefully. Yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
awesome.
Seattle Astronomical Society has a lending library of telescopes.
Which we're going to talk a little bit about more later.
Okay,
We'll talk about that more later. But okay, so we talked kind of about the technology and the tools. Let's talk about some of those different events that you can see and that you have seen with yours. Let's first start with, okay, I'm going to say this right, the Coma Berenices.
Berenices.
Okay, so here's that. This is a photo of it. So you would be able to see this with the larger binoculars?
Definitely, I think this is one of the globular cluster, and you can see it's a global. There are different clusters, globular and open. The globular clusters are the one which are concentrated in the middle of the core of the galaxy, because the stars are like million years old, and the open clusters are the one which have relatively newer stars. So these clusters form in the middle of the galaxy.
Oh, cool. And will we be able to see this in the near future?
We'll be able to see this around in the June sky. With telescope, you definitely can see the brightness is super clear if you see it with a telescope, but you can spot these with the binoculars as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So there's one. We also have the Beehive cluster.
It definitely looks really like a beehive, and it's one of the Messier's number. Keith, can you?
Is it 44?
Yeah, 44. Yeah.
I believe 44.
Yeah, 44. It is an open cluster that's on the edges of the Milky Way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we can definitely see. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what are we seeing here in this? Is it any planets or?
Well, that's an interesting one, because that's a Hubble. No, that's a James Webb Space Telescope image, and in the lower right hand down there is a galaxy. So that's actually a galaxy. So
Oh my goodness.
it would be a little different view with these instruments than James Webb, but but it's yeah, you can. There are galaxies in all of these things that you look at.
Cool. And the M44 will be visible this month as well.
M44, yes.
Okay.
And M13, the Hercules one. I think that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about the Hercules cluster. So this is another one potentially coming up that, oh my goodness, that's amazing. What are we seeing here?
That's a globular cluster, and there are like millions of stars in the middle. So it has, I think, Keith, can you help me with that?
400,000 stars, something like that, all globbed up together from, these are very ancient stars going back at the beginning of the formation of the galaxy.
Is that where it gets its name, globular cluster?
Yes.
It's globbed,
Globular.
Globbed. It's globbed.
literally globbed together.
Multiple stars, and these are old. These are they're aging out. They're at the end of their life cycle compared to the ones in the open cluster.
Oh, interesting. So the closer they are, the older they are?
The closer is that's how mostly the globular clusters look like. They're mostly the distance is pretty much
They're compact.
like compact. Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting because if you picture the galaxy as a pie plate,
Okay.
these things sit up kind of above the plane of the galaxy.
Oh.
So they kind of globbed up there at the formation of the galaxy.
Wow. Oh, that's so interesting. Okay, and we have one more, Misir and Alor. And what are these?
These are, one is a white dwarf and one is a red giant, and they are double binary stars. So usually they are either in a binary system or a nuclear system. I think the Misir is the one with the white giant, and
Yes.
the Alor is the red giant. So
Yeah.
this we might definitely spot this in the June sky.
Okay.
It's hard to tell whether they're binary in terms of orbiting each other or whether they're just two stars that are close together, because one is 82 light years away, the other one's 83 light years away.
Oh.
So no one has really figured out if they're rotating around each other or not, orbiting each other or not. I've asked why, and they say, well, nobody really cares that much.
Oh. Let's find out.
Astronomers have a lot of work to do, and that's not that interesting. I don't think.
Well, but that's, I think, the cool thing about astronomy is that there is so much going on. There's
Yeah.
so much that has been discovered,
Yeah.
but there's so much to still
Yeah.
discover.
Right on.
And that, I think, is one of the most awe-inspiring
That
parts.
keeps us on the edge, like what are you going to discover next?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think in this sky we'll also note, we might also see Mars. We'll definitely capture good planets on the binoculars.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen Venus and Saturn in the winter sky, and I'm looking forward to seeing Mars as well. I mean, you can definitely see with the naked eye, but you can see some detailed observations using the binoculars.
Amazing. Okay, so that's such a good takeaway for everybody, is if you are hearing this and are intrigued by it at all, binoculars could be a good step in the right direction to get you there. What would you say is a good range for how much you're going to pay for something like those?
It goes between, the minimum starts with like 120 to like, it can go up to like 300 to 500.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure it can go up and up and up.
Yeah, so I went like one step above.
Okay.
The minimum, so that I get the diameter as well. Like I can see something clearly. I can see the stars clearly and the objects clearly.
And that has got to be such a big thing for getting the excitement continuing.
Yep.
Is when you actually see it and go,
I would definitely recommend watching the moon from the Alki beach.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like definitely you have a lot of night sky, like sky with dark sky without any pollution.
Mm-hmm.
So Alki Beach is also, and Alki Beach and Golden Gardens Beach, you can definitely get some really good views.
Okay, and we are later on in the show, we are going to talk a little bit about some of the events that the Seattle Astronomical Society hosts for people to come get involved. So we'll talk about some that are up on the calendar in June. But Keith, I want to talk about this new star.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Good.
what's going on with this? A brand new star. We're just talking about older stars. Let's talk about a new star.
Well, they, often call it a new star because it'll be new for most of us, because the last time it was around was 80 years ago.
1946.
So, yeah.
Oh, so it's not new.
No, it's not really new.
Okay.
This is something that has a thermonuclear explosion once every about 80 years. So we've been waiting for it now. It's supposed to happen anytime, but it's a red giant and a white dwarf. And the white dwarf is going around the red giant, and it's picking up material. And as soon as it picks up enough material, it just goes explosion, yeah. Thermonuclear explosion, and becomes a fairly bright star in the night sky that wasn't there before. So because it's 80 years ago, we call it a new star. It's we just say it's a new star for about a week or so, and then it fades off.
And do we have the potential to see that this month?
Yes, we do, or next month, or a year from now.
So we're not quite sure.
Yeah, but the idea here is keep watching for it.
Okay.
I guarantee you it'll be on your news.
How will people know if they're seeing that versus another star?
Well, if you're looking in the same place and watching for it and you know where to look, it won't be there tonight.
Okay.
But when it goes nova, that's the explosion called a nova, it will be there in that spot. So
Okay.
you just have to know where to look.
Okay, so patience, everybody, for that one.
Yeah.
But that would be a cool thing to get to see.
Yeah, no, it's a big event, and there's a lot of citizen scientists that will, like me, that will be studying it as it comes along, feeding that data to NASA. They like that citizen science.
Oh, I love it. Okay. All right. We've hit a lot already. Still to come. I know everybody is probably on the edge of their seat right now. I hope they are thinking, well, I want to get involved. We've got a couple different times and places for you to join the Seattle Astronomical Society and see this all with your own eyes. Stay with us. Welcome back. Keerti is still with us here. So Keerti, we talked about binoculars. I love that that's a good way to get your feet wet. But if people want to take it to the next level, the Seattle Astronomical Society does have a way to rent and borrow telescopes, right?
Yes, not just telescopes, even binoculars. You can go to our website. As a member, you get to rent the equipment for free, and they are like really amazing telescopes and binoculars for different levels of skill set. So you can go to the website and place a request, and you can go to Cloudbreak Optics, which is in the northwest, that's near Ballard, and get the equipment, and you can enjoy the equipment and see do some good stargazing, and then definitely you get like 2 to 3 weeks you can return, and then you can return it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing. But you do have to be a member of the Seattle
Yes.
Astronomical Society to use the lending library.
Yes.
But something you do not have to be a member for, the Seattle Astronomical Society hosts events every week, every month. Anyone can come to these. Here are some of the June stargazing events. So let's go through these.
So on Saturday, June 14th, we'll be, there's one in Discovery Park in Bonnie Lake, and we host, we do these regularly every month in these same locations.
Okay.
So most of the events are open to public, children are welcome, everyone's welcome. You get your blankets, you get your water, hot water and everything, and also your red lights, and you can sit back and enjoy the stargazing. We have our seasoned astronomers who will walk us through the telescope. They'll set the telescope and give everyone a chance to like view all the objects. So it's super fun. The next one is on June 21st. That's in Paramount Park in Shoreline. And on June 28th, we have it at Rattlesnake Mountain Trail and the Snoqualmie Point Park at different places. And I have had people come to me and say that we've been to the Rattlesnake Mountain Trail and there's so many people around, and the SAS team is like super friendly, and they've had really pleasant experience in stargazing.
Good. A good way to get involved and meet the pros too. I think
Yes.
that's such a special thing, is if you don't know what you're doing and you just walked outside and looked up, you wouldn't quite know. It's hard
Yeah.
to gauge. It's a large sky. So
It is.
having the pros there to help guide you and point to things and say, this is what this is and this is what this is probably so helpful.
Yes, they even translate all the technical terms to like stories and constellations. They talk about how the constellations were named, on which sky do we see what constellation, and what planets can be observed. And yeah, it's super fun, especially in the night when it's like super chilly. That's a really nice experience.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so lots of events coming up in June. Keerti and Keith as well, thank you both so much for being here from the Seattle Astronomical Society, for your wisdom, for your guidance. A lot going on in June. Keep your eye to the sky, keep your eyes up, and we'll watch the sky above. Thanks so much for being with us for this June edition, everybody.